This week on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we will discuss the end of the 2015 regular season versus Drexel and look ahead to this week's CAA Tournament. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report begins now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to the Towson Sports Network studio for another episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report presented by Northwestern Mutual. I'm your host, Spiro Morekas. The Tigers traveled to Philadelphia on Saturday to face the Drexel Dragons in their final game of the regular season. A win for the Tigers would have locked up a CAA regular season title and the chance to host the CAA tournament here at Unitas Stadium. Unfortunately, it was the Dragons that got off to a hot start, taking a 7-2 halftime lead. Let's take a look at the highlights. Top of the box, gets to Michael Kay, down the right side to Frazee, fires and scores. Robert Frazee with the goal. That's his 13th of the year, and it's 1-0 Dragons with 10:31 remaining here in the first quarter.
Yeah,
Pin has a short stick. Adams on him, moves to the middle, feeds over to his right. Frazee winds, shoots, and scores right over the left shoulder of Tyler White, and it's 2-0 Dragons with 7:09 to go in the first quarter. Out top to McCarty. Ben coming down the right side. Turns, passes back to Parks. Parks feeds down low. Shot, score, Tigers. Joe Sider.
Yeah, just good ball movement by the Tigers. Parks finds Sider in front. Catches, turns, fires between the legs of Granito. Gets the Tigers on the board here.
Up the right turn. Shot, scored. Drexel, Chris Frederick. And it's 3-1 Dragons with 3:46 to go in the first quarter as McCarty moving down, shoots, hits the top pipe, ball comes up to Lynch. Lynch moving in, he'll flip it over to McCarty, middle of the field, Ben fires and scores! Ben McCarty with the goal, his 4th of the year, and it's 3-2.
And Tyler against Tyler White, who is a righty, Granito being a lefty. That same shot doesn't work as well.
And now the other way, here comes Drexel, shot by Frazee. He's got the hat trick and a flag. 4-2 Drexel. Kay moving to his left, throws to Belka, fires from way outside on the left, and he gets it right through the legs of Tyler White, and it's 5-2 Dragons. Frederick starts up, comes up the right side, turns, shoots, and he's got his second goal. He had one all season long. He's got 2 today, and it's 6-2 Drexel with 3:41 to go in the half. Gets it to Desnu. Desnu coming down, feeds behind to Frederick. Frederick over to Belko on the left. He'll wind, he'll shoot, and he'll make that Schaefer, and he scores 7-2 Dragons as Cole Schaefer has just scored his 24th goal of the year. Joe Sider and Ben McCarty scored the Tigers' first half goals, but the Dragons scored the final 4 goals of the half to lead by 5 at the break. Let's welcome in the head coach of the Tigers, Shawn Nadelen, to break down the first half. And Coach, what was it? And you were coming off a game where you only scored 2 goals against Hofstra, and the offense struggled again in the first half against Drexel on Saturday.
Yeah, we had nice looks. We just didn't finish the ball well. I didn't think we were as mentally sharp as we needed to be, and we definitely lacked energy as a team. But offensively, we had nice looks, and we just didn't finish off. And our stick work wasn't really where it needed to be. Some high passes, some low passes. That affects your timing. That affects your ability to, take advantage of the opportunities you have. And that was, a big part of the first half woes.
The other thing was Drexel scored 7 goals in the first half. That's what you guys average giving up per game. What was it that they were doing offensively, or was it something that you weren't doing defensively?
It was definitely more of what we weren't doing. We weren't staying disciplined on ball. We weren't doing a good job of kind of our slide, rotate, recover process that we have on the defensive end, and being able to body up on guys. I know Tyler let in a couple that he'd like to have back. So, where he usually makes a save, he didn't. And they had a couple nicely placed shots. And I remember one, we had a great angle from the bench, and the kid put it, basically in in a corner that, that was the only spot that was available. So they did some good things to beat us in the first half.
All right, now at halftime, you're down 7-2, and from our broadcast viewpoint, you guys were right in front of us. And I noticed that you basically let the team stay on their own for a long time before any of the coaches went over. What was your thinking in that?
I felt the team needed to embrace the situation and needed to find within themselves what was needed for them to come out in the second half and fight the way that we know how to fight and how to play as a Towson group. So I didn't think anything that I said or use as motivation was really going to make too much of a difference, especially within the first 4 or 5 minutes of the halftime break. So I let the offense and defensive groups, split up, talk about some tweaks here and there. And then I brought the team together right before we hit the field and communicated what I needed to. And I was really proud of the way the guys came out in the second half.
Well, as we'll see in a moment, the Tigers did come out and play very well in the second half. We have come to our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at those second half highlights as the Tigers tried to come from behind to beat the Drexel Dragons. The Tiger Lacrosse Report, presented by Northwestern Mutual with head coach Shawn Nadelen, returns right after these words.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you, then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Congrats.
Errands makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. I'm Spiro Morekas. Down 7-2 at the half, and with their backs against the wall, the Tigers came out in the second half, firing on all cylinders as they scored 6 straight goals to take their first lead with 11:45 left in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, the Dragons would fight back and hold on for an 11-10 win, costing the Tigers a CAA regular season title. Here are the highlights from that second half. Get it down low to Drenner. Drenner to the right to Parks, in front to Siskin. Max behind the crease, flips it over to his left to Drenner. Back to Siskin. Turns, shoots, and scores. So the Tigers draw first blood here in the second half as Max Siskin comes up with his 12th goal of the year, and the Tigers cut it to 7-3. To McCarty over to the right to Lynch. Lynch moving in, shoots and scores. Mike Lynch with his first of the day and his 5th of the year, and now it's 7-4. Drexel with 11:40 remaining in the third quarter. Spencer works it over to his left to Drenner, out top to Siskin. Max up top to McCarty. Ben shoots, scores! 7-5. Tigers down 2. McCarty with his second today. He's got 5 on the year as he gets to McCarty. Ben shoots and scores. He's got a hat trick. He had 3 goals coming into the year. He's got 3 goals today, and the Tigers are down 1, 7-6. Ben spins, turns, shoots, and scores his 4th goal of the game, and we are tied at 7. Ben McCarty to Drenner, over to Conan, in front, shot, score, Max Siskin, and the Tigers have taken an 8-7 lead. What a beautiful feed in front of the goal for Max Siskin and Towson on a 6-0 run. They have erased the deficit and taken an advantage with 11:45 to go. Pin Decay at the midfield circle, comes down the left, feeds it to Schaefer, gonna wind, shoot, and he scores. We're tied at 8. To Frederick. Frederick gives it to Belka up top. Wine, shot, score. Mason pin. 9-8 Drexel with 7:15 to go. Drenner has it behind the cage. 5:38 to go. Drenner feeds in front. Siskin shoots, scores. Tied at 9. Max with a hat trick. From the left, feeds it back behind to Frederick. Frederick comes up, shoots, and scores. And for just the second time this year, an opponent has gotten to double digits on Towson. You can assume Drexel's going to take their time here, Hunter. Now, the ball is stripped by Tyler Mays, but Belka comes back up with it. Comes down, shoots, and scores. 11-9 Drexel with 4:10 to go. Trying to move in, takes it back behind the crease, feed it up top. Mavis fires and scores. 11-10 with 2:21 to go. Spencer turns, shoots, and the ball just wide. Rolls outside of the net and scooped up by Granito. Drenner feeds it back to Max. Max flips it out front. Pass goes wide. Ball rolling loose. 2 seconds left. 1. Feed down low. Ball game's over. Drexel wins. We're headed to Fairfield, Connecticut on Thursday.
The Tigers made it an 11-10 game with 2:21 left in regulation, but couldn't get the game-tying goal in the closing minutes. Towson fell to 9-5 with the loss and closed CAA play with a 3-2 record. And Coach, you came out in that second half and you did exactly what you had hoped, taking that 8-7 lead. At that point, did you sense maybe we've got this now?
Never did I sense that, we had it. There was obviously a lot of game to play, but I felt we had them on their heels. I thought if we can, continue to press forward and continue to, keep playing the way we're playing, it was going to be tough for them to stay with us. I felt like they got, pushed back, by us in that second half, and then we just kept charging forward. They're a tough team, obviously, and they came back and were able to get a goal, and then kind of went back and forth, through those last couple goals. They got that 2-goal separation at 11-9. They kind of, again, made us have to fight back, and it's tough for a team, being down 5 goals in any, large deficit. You spend so much energy to work your way back, and we did that in a short amount of time. That third quarter, right into the fourth quarter. So, we had opportunities. Towards the end, we got blanked on a few possessions where we were capitalizing up to that point in the second half. Defensively, gave up a couple errors, and then that, that was costly for us.
A couple of guys stood out. First, Alec Berkeley had a great day at the face-off circle. 15 of 24, the Tigers won. What a turnaround from the last couple of years where Nick Saputo had basically dominated you guys.
No doubt, and that was something that I communicated to the face-off guys from day one of practice last week of how much Nick has hurt us as a face-off unit, but as a team as well. When he's hot, Drexel's really, really good, and I couldn't have been more pleased with Alec and the way he approached that game, the way he obviously went about his business during the game and won, and not just won the ball outright, but also won through some scrums and some opportunities there. I hope we can get the same effort moving forward on Thursday, because I know Saputo is a highly competitive kid and going to come at Alec with everything he has.
Ben McCarty had only 3 goals all season long. He was one of your leading goal scorers returning from last year. He scores 4 goals on Saturday. What was it that clicked finally for Ben?
Ben's a competitive kid, and I think he, being in that game, he just felt in that. I know he felt in that first half, it wasn't what we were supposed to be. And being a captain, he was, trying to lead by example and staying tuned in. And he had one of the first half goals and really responded that much more in that second half. And then, I think he wanted to allow the team to feel that they could rely on him to produce, and Ben, showcased that. He just worked hard. He gets his hands free and got a couple of great shots off to capitalize. And then Ben's, again, a competitive kid and doing everything he can to help the team win.
Well, he almost led a great comeback that would have given the Tigers the regular season championship. Unfortunately, they will head to Fairfield coming up this week. Coming up on the other side of the break, we'll look at that CAA tournament. We will be back with the Tiger Lacrosse Report presented by Northwestern Mutual right after these words.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo! Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you, then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. I'm Spiro Morekas. The Tigers will be the number 3 seed in the CAA tournament. Regular season champions Fairfield will host the 4-team tournament with the semifinals on Thursday and the CAA championship game on Saturday. After losing to the Drexel Dragons this past Saturday, the Tigers get instant redemption as they will face the Dragons again in the CAA semifinals at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And Coach, going into that game on Saturday, both teams knew that you were going to play each other again on Thursday, whether it was in Towson or whether it was in Fairfield. Did that take anything away from the game, knowing that these two teams were going to play again in 4 days?
For us, it didn't. That's not what I was communicating to our team. We were specifically on my end. I was looking for us to be able to play the way we're capable of playing, which we didn't do the week before. And then try to build that momentum. Both teams knew. The 4 teams were solidified on Friday night after the other 4 teams played out. The 4 teams knew they were in the tournament. Both Drexel and us knew we were in the tournament. For me, I was looking to regain that confidence, regain that mentality of how we play. And, I don't think it was an issue, knowing that you're going to play Drexel again. Both teams are looking to win a lacrosse game, and that's what it really came down to.
Well, the second half, can you take that momentum into Thursday?
I'd love to, definitely. And that's something that I talked to the guys about after the game, with regards to the difference in the halves and the difference in what we look like. And that's something that we're going to continue to emphasize and film and practice this week as well. How dangerous of a team we are when everybody's firing on all cylinders and everybody is hustling and mentally sharp and focused and dialed in with their energy and execution. We're a pretty tough team, and that's a team that we've seen in the past. For whatever reason, we haven't had that in the past, complete 2 games. But if we put a complete, game together on Thursday with what the second half looked like, we're a pretty tough team.
From a coaching standpoint, you play a game on Saturday and you have the same opponent again on Thursday. I mean, this isn't baseball where you play 3 games in a row against the same team. How weird is it for you as a coaching staff to sit down and scout the game you just played to try to come up with a game plan against the same team just 4 days later?
Yeah, it's, it has its advantages and disadvantages. It's a team you're familiar with, obviously from having played them over the past few years, but also you just played them. So you wonder how much they're going to tweak, how much they're going to adjust. Same thing with us. How much do we need to adjust and tweak, or do we just need to be better? Which I think is something that we need to do. But there's different nuances of their game that you find out within playing them, and it's fresh. Everything's fresh in your mind. So it's difficult in the fact that you don't know how much things are going to change. But that'd be the case in anything, and you got to step on the field and on Thursday with your best effort and see where that takes you.
I would assume that Nick Saputo is going to sit down and look at that film and try to figure out what he can do to be better against Alec Berkeley. Will Alec sit down and look and say, okay, maybe I can anticipate he's going to try to do this to offset what I did on Saturday?
Absolutely. Yeah, Nick and I actually, not Nick, but Alec and I spoke over the weekend after the game, and kind of addressing those as well. And we're going to get to work with practice and then, figure out what they might do to try to counter that. At the end of the day, it's a battle at the face-off X, and Nick is a competitor, and Alec is as well. So, we'll see how that pans out.
You go up to Fairfield, where you won earlier this season against the Stags, so you're playing on a field where you had success. Does that play in at all? That it will be kind of familiar going back to Fairfield?
It's nice that we did go up there this year, being that Fairfield's new to the league, and we've never played Fairfield, so going up there and having that familiarity with the hotels in the area and travel to the game and what the locker room situation is in the field layout, all that, it helps. It helps us, being able to kind of put any distractions that might cause aside and just being able to focus, on going up there. And yeah, we had success up there. We played a tough game, and then won a one-goal game, against a tough team in Fairfield. So, I think in the back of the mind, that's a nice thing to have in our back pocket.
You guys get the win against Drexel on Thursday, and then you're going to play either Fairfield or UMass. And as you mentioned, you beat Fairfield by a goal. You beat UMass by 3. So you have beaten both of those teams that you would play in the championship game on Saturday. When you look at Fairfield and UMass, what kind of a matchup do you see in those two teams as they play each other?
UMass is coming off a tough loss, so I'm sure they're going to step in, ready to fly. Fairfield's coming off a gritty win, where they scored enough in that first quarter, to sustain them for the last 3 quarters against Hofstra, who was fighting for their playoff lives. So you wonder, you got to imagine both teams are going to bring their best to the field. Face-offs would be interesting because Fairfield's face-off guy is terrific. I think both goalies, can be big-time factors in the game. Tyler Berring for Fairfield's playing a little bit better than Oliveri right now, but both teams can be pretty dangerous.
You look at what happened this past weekend, and you mentioned UMass loses to Delaware, the only win Delaware had in the CAA. Fairfield wins 5-4, and they scored all 5 goals in the first quarter, never scored again. Against a Hofstra team that had just beaten you, and I think was probably feeling really good about themselves going into that game. So Fairfield's coming in on a high, and obviously if they win on Thursday, they'll be at home. How much of a disadvantage will it be for you guys to play them at home again?
I don't think it really is a disadvantage. You're in that game. They got to step on the field just like we got to step on the field and play. They might have a bigger crowd being at their home. They get their students and fans in the stands more than we would. Being on the road up in Connecticut. So that might be really the only advantage. When it comes down to it, is 2 teams playing a lacrosse game, and they might have a few more people in the stands, but we don't worry about that. We worry about what we do on the field.
All right, real quickly. Always been in the CAA. Number 1 seed hosts number 4, number 2 hosts number 3. They made a change a couple years ago at Penn State, did it all at one place, then went back last year to first hosting and number 2 hosting. What do you like better, one site or 2 separate sites?
One site. Yeah, I was a big advocate of that in our conference meetings, going to the one site. I think it's just better for everybody involved. Travel, midweek with the separate sites was tough for, anybody doing that. Having to go to 2 different places sometimes, is not easy. So having it all at one side and then seeing what plays out on Thursday, 2 teams stay, 2 teams go home. Everybody kind of knows what's going on and where they are.
All right, and that's how it will be. We have to take one final break, but we will be back with more of the Tiger Lacrosse Report presented by Northwestern Mutual right after this.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Strong can heal from miles away. Unite us for a common good. And turn a simple video into endless laughter. Strong can take you all the way to the summit.
So cool!
Blue.
Think what Strong can do for you.
Can I play too? She asked.
AT&T's network now has the nation's strongest 4G LTE signal.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you, then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. And Coach, thanks for joining us and good luck in the CAA Tournament. Hopefully next week you and I are sitting here with an NCAA version of the Tiger Lacrosse Report.
That'd be excellent. Thanks, Spiro.
All right. As we have mentioned, the Tigers will face the Drexel Dragons in the semifinals of the CAA Tournament. That game takes place at 4 o'clock on Thursday. I'll be joined by Hunter Lochte to bring you live coverage on TowsonTigers.com starting at 3:45. Should the Tigers advance to the championship game, they face either Fairfield or UMass at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Our coverage on TowsonTigers.com begins at 12:45. Thank you for watching another episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report presented by Northwestern Mutual, and go Tigers.